Hey guys, today I am making a cranberry pork shoulder roast in my Instant Pot. I made a giant batch of cranberry sauce the other day with some fresh cranberries that I got, and I'm going to put some in the freezer to have for Thanksgiving, of course. But I had a lot left over, so I wanted to do something with that, and it is the season right now for cranberry, and cranberry goes great with pork. So I'm going to use this pork shoulder roast. I did cut it. When you're cooking a roast in the Instant Pot, the smaller you cut it into pieces, the faster it's going to cook. So like if you had a 2-pound roast that's just in a big chunk, it's going to take a lot longer than if you cut it into 2, 3, 4 pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn my Instant Pot on saute mode, and I did turn it up to the more setting. So you just hit the adjust button to put it up to the more setting, and that just gets it as hot as it can for saute mode. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of cooking oil to the pot and then brown my roast. I'm going to season both sides generously with salt and pepper. Now that the Instant Pot is hot, I'm going to add my meat in there. I just want to render the fat a little bit and get a little bit of browning. That'll get a little extra flavor. If you are in a hurry, you can totally skip this step and just throw everything in at once and let it cook that way. And I'm just going to let this brown for probably about 5 minutes or so on each side. Now that I have some nice browning on both sides, I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. For the onions, I have about a half a cup of chopped onions. What I'm going to do is just move the roast over so I can get them on the bottom of the pan. And that way, while the Instant Pot is heating up, before a lot of the liquid is released, they'll just get a little bit of browning on them and get a little bit of extra flavor that way. And then I'm going to add 2 cups of the cranberry sauce, and this is homemade. I just followed the directions that were on the back of the bag of cranberries I got. You could totally use canned, just use like a 15-ounce can or any homemade recipe that you enjoy. So I'm just going to add 2 cups of cranberry sauce right into the Instant Pot over the top of these beautiful looking pork shoulder roasts. Ooh, making a mess. And as a quick little cleaning tip here, what I do to clean this edge that can kind of get a little nasty sometimes, I just get a paper towel and use the dull end of a butter knife and kind of run my towel all the way around, and usually it gets it pretty clean. And I can use some dish soap or some spray or something if it's really, really gross in there, but usually a wet paper towel does the trick. Now with the 2 cups of the cranberry sauce and all the liquid that the meat is going to release, I don't need to add any more liquid to this. It will be fine, and I don't want it to be too soupy when I'm done anyway, so that should be plenty of liquid for this recipe. I'm going to put my lid on. I'm going to make sure I'm on sealing instead of venting. And for cook time, I'm going to do manual for 35 minutes. You could also use the meat setting if you want. I really find very little difference between the manual setting and the meat setting, so it's just up to you if you want to do that or not. And it is going to come up to pressure, cook for 35 minutes, and then I'm going to let it sit for probably about 10 minutes to release some of the pressure naturally before I quick release the rest, and I will be back to show you at that point. All finished with the cook time, and it's been sitting on keep warm mode for 10 minutes, so the pressure has released naturally for 10 minutes, and I'm just going to go ahead and quick release the rest, and we'll see what we got. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the roast. Got to be careful because it could fall apart very easily. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the saute mode and reduce down the sauce a little bit. Oh, that looks so delicious. You could do a starch, use a couple teaspoons of a starch mixed in some cold water to thicken this up, but I'm not in a rush, so I'm just going to turn on the saute mode and let some of the water boil off and see if I can get this a little thicker. So I'm going to just turn off the keep warm mode and then hit the saute button, and I'm going to hit adjust to get to the more setting so that it's as hot as possible, and just get that to a good boil. And look at this pork roast. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious? So I've let it boil down for about 15 to 20 minutes, and it's reduced by about half, which is plenty. It's nice and thick now, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the saute mode. And with our dinner tonight, I'm going to serve this pork roast with rice and some sauteed cabbage. So I have my second liner here with my rice all ready to go. I'm going to pop that in, and our dinner is almost ready.